Okay, here's the English translation of Block 1 of 4, maintaining the original content, format, and punctuation. Exactly. You were taught to pray. Since childhood, the words came to you like a distant echo, repeated by voices that also repeated them without questioning. Our Father, who art in heaven, you memorized, recited, memor in moments of despair and gratitude. But there's something they never told you. There's something that was erased, rewritten, translated, and retranslated, and retranslated, until the original sound was lost like sand between your fingers. And today now, in this moment, as you read these words, something inside you already knows. You're not discovering, you're remembering, because the truth never completely disappears. It just waits, silently, until someone asks, and you are asking, not with your mouth, with your soul. What Jesus taught wasn't a decorated prayer. It was a portal, a key, a code whispered in the forgotten language of presence. It didn't teach words to be repeated mechanically while the mind wanders. He taught a way back, back home, back to the source, back to what you always were before you forgot. But over the centuries, that path was paved with dogmas, surrounded by doctrines, locked behind doors of gold and velvet. The words were altered, not by accident, not by innocent translation error, but because what Jesus really taught was dangerous. Dangerous to whom? To those who built empires on fear, to those who sold heaven as a product and might dealt a bargaining chip, to those who needed you to believe you were separate, small, unworthy, distant. Because if you knew, if you really knew what those original words contained, you would never kneel asking again. You would rise recognizing. Take a deep breath now. Feel the air entering, expanding your chest, touching something ancient inside you. Exhale slowly. Realize that breathing doesn't belong to any religion. It's earlier than all of them. It's the first prayer, the first mantra, the silent sound that connects you to everything. Jesus spoke Aramaic, a language of sounds, not just words. A language where each syllable carried vibration, intention, universe. And when he taught what you know as our Father, it wasn't creating a prayer. It was offering a map back to unity. But Aramaic wasn't preserved. It was replaced by Greek, then by Latin, then by the languages of empire. And with each translation, something was lost. Not just words, but words. See, when Jesus said, Father, he didn't say the word you know. He said, Abun. And Abun doesn't just mean father. It means breath. It means origin. It means the breath that creates, that sustains, that permeates everything. It's not a distant figure in the sky. It's the very life force that pulses in you now. As you read, Abun is the sound of creation happening. And when he said, who art in heaven, he didn't point upwards. He used the voix maya, which means in all places of light, in every vibration, in every subtle realm. Not a place, a state, a frequency. Though you see, from the beginning, you were told to look outward, upward, away, but he was saying, look inward, to the center, nearby, because the kingdom isn't there. It's here, in the pulse of your heart, in the stillness between your thoughts, in the pause between inhaling and exhaling. Keep breathing, slowly. You don't have to believe in anything yet. Yudadopinador. Feel how something ancient is awakening. As if a door you didn't even know existed is opening. Very slowly, letting in a light you always knew, but had forgotten to see. When Jesus said, hallowed be thy name, The original word was Nith Kadash Shmak, and Shmak isn't just a name, it's the vibration, the unique signature of the divine in all things. To hallow isn't to worship from afar, it's to recognize the sacred in everything, in the bread, in the water, in the gaze of a stranger, in the silence of dawn, in your own face in the mirror. To hallow is to remember. It's to wake up from the sleep that made you believe there is the profane, that there is separation between the holy and the common. Everything is one. Everything always was. And then comes the verse that has been most distorted. Thy kingdom come. But the Aramaic word was Teite Malkuthak, and Malkuthak isn't a future, distant, conditional kingdom. It's the inner sovereignty. It's the government of consciousness. It's the space within you where all dualities cease and you finally rest in the truth. It's not something that comes. It's something you allow, that you reveal, that you unblock by removing the layers of fear, judgment, haste, noise. When Jesus said, "Thy kingdom come," it wasn't talking about heaven or hell after death. It was saying, stop, be still, feel, the kingdom is already here. You just need to enter, and the door is made of presence, of attention, of now. Stop reading for a moment. Close your eyes, take 3 breaths, deeply, feel the chest of your body, the temperature of the air, the sound around you. You are alive, you are conscious, you are here. Exactly this is the kingdom, not later, not if you are good enough. Now, always now, open your eyes when you are ready, and continue, returning home. Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. The phrase they taught you to repeat as passive surrender, as resignation, but in the original Aramaic, Newet Sebianak doesn't mean blindly obeying an external plan. It means aligning, tuning in, letting the cosmic will, which is already your deepest will, flow without obstacle. It's not about nullifying your desire. It's about realizing that what you really want deep down is the same as what life wants through you. Peace, creation, love, truth. When you stop resisting, when you stop fighting against yourself, when you finally trust, the will becomes one. There is no more a division between what you want and what should happen. There is only dance, only flow, only yes, and on earth as it is in heaven. Aikana de Boasmaya Pudarra is not a comparison, it's a revelation. Heaven and earth are not separate. They mirror each other, the invisible and the visible, the eternal and the temporal. And you are at the intersection. You are the bridge. You are the place where heaven touches earth, where spirit dwells in matter, where infinity expresses itself as finite. There is no division, only the appearance of division. And when you realize this, when you truly feel this, everything changes. Because you are no longer trying to escape the earth to reach heaven. You are bringing heaven into the earth, into the body, into the moment. Now breathe again, feel the air, feel how it enters clean, and leaves taking away what no longer serves. Each exhale is a release, each inhale is a renewal. You are not just breathing, you are praying, praying without words, praying with the entire existence. Give us this day our daily bread. How many times have you heard this and thought only of food, of material provision? But the Aramaic word lama means more than bread. It means wisdom. It means the substance that nourishes not only the body, but the soul. And daily, Zesumkanan is not about accumulating, about ensuring the future, about stocking up out of fear. It's about trusting, about asking only for what is needed now, just enough for this step, this moment, this breath. Because when you trust, when you truly trust, you discover that there is always enough, not left over, not lacking. There is balance, there is grace, and you realize that the universe is not stingy. You are the one who learned to be afraid. And then comes the most misinterpreted verse of all. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. But in Aramaic, the word used was not debt in the sense of a financial transaction. It was hobein, which means failing, misalignment, erring from the path. And forgiveness, says Biwokan, is not forgetting, it is not pretending nothing happened, it is not accepting abuse, it is releasing, it is letting go, it is refusing to carry the weight of the past as a chain around your neck. You forgive not because the other deserves it, but because you deserve peace. You release not because the wound was small, but because life is too short to live trapped in the prison of resentment. And when you forgive, truly forgive, you are not being weak, you are being free. Because forgiving is remembering that the other, just like you, is human, flawed, scarred, trying. And if you can see their humanity through the pain they caused, then you can finally see your own. And in that vision, there is liberation, there is rest, there is an end to the war. Close your eyes again. Think of someone who hurt you, someone you still hold inside your chest like a thorn. Take a deep breath and imagine, just imagine what it would be like to let go. Not for them, for you. Feel the weight, feel the exhaustion of carrying this. And now, slowly, imagine letting it go, like a balloon that rises, like a leaf that falls into the river. You don't need to forget. You don't need to forget. Just at being defined by it. Breathe and let go. You are light now. You always were. In lead us not into temptation. But the Aramaic word latalan does not mean temptation in the sense of moral sin. It means deviación, dispersión, getting lost in the labyrinth of the mind. It is a request for lucidity, for attention, to remain centered when everything around you pulls you in 1,000 directions. It's not about being poor, it's about being present. Because the real temptation is not pleasure, it's forgetfulness. It's living on autopilot. It's ceasing to be here. It's dying before you die. And but deliver us from evil. Elapat San Min Bisha is not about external demons. It's about liberation from inner fragmentation, from fear, from the illusion of separation. Bisha is not an external evil force. It's blindness. It's the veil that prevents you from seeing. And when you ask to be delivered, you are not asking a distant father to save you. You are reminding yourself to wake up, to see clearly, to return to the center. The original prayer doesn't end where you think. It doesn't end where you think. It doesn't end with Amen. It ends with an explosion of recognition. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. But these words, Metol Dilaki Malkuta, are not flattery. They are declaration. They are reminder. The power isn't out there. The kingdom isn't distant. The glory isn't of a separate God. It's of the force that sustains all things, that is in all things, that is all things. And you are that too. Not a separate part worshipping the whole, but the whole recognizing itself through you. Take a deep breath now, very deep, and realize something. Everything you sought outside was within. Everything you thought lost was only forgotten. Everything you called distant was always as close as your own breath. Prayer is not a plea, it's an awakening. It's not a request for something absent. It's a recognition of what has always been present. You don't need to deserve it. You don't need to prove it. You don't need to be good enough. Oh, you just need to remember. So why was it changed? Why were these words translated in a way that harassed the power they contained? Because if you knew, if you really knew, that the divine is not separate from you, that you don't need an intermediary, that you are already complete, that you are already sacred, then you wouldn't be controllable, you wouldn't buy salvation, you wouldn't trade your freedom for promises of a future paradise. You would live now, conscious, free, whole, and that was unacceptable to those who built thrones upon the belief that you were small, sinful, needy, lost. But they couldn't erase everything, because the truth isn't just in the words, it's in the vibration, in the silence, in the breath, and you carry that, you always have. Not because someone gave it to you, but because you are it. You are the prayer, you are the temple, you are the altar and the offering. You are the seeker and the found. And the more you remember this, the more your whole life changes. Because you stop asking permission to exist. You stop waiting for approval to shine. You simply are. And that is the revolution that Jesus taught. Not a religion, but a return to what you always were. Sit down now. No matter where you are, sit down and place your hands over your heart. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply, slowly, as if you were drinking light. Inhale counting to 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Feel the rhythm, feel how your body knows, how it always knew. Now in silence, without words, repeat with me, not with your mouth, but with your soul, the true prayer. The prayer that no one can translate because it is not made of words. It is made of presence, a boon. Breathe. Feel the source of everything pulsing in you, not out there, in here, not in a distant heaven. In the center of your chest, you are not separate. You never were. Inhale this truth. Let it in like warm light, like cool water, like a hug you've waited your whole life for. The Wasmaya. Exhale. Release the illusion. Release the belief that you are small, isolated, insufficient. You are made of the same substance as the stars, of the same breath that created worlds. You are not outside of creation. You are creation knowing itself. Ledederum tektas schmack. Breathe again. And as you breathe, recognize the sacred. In the air, in the sound, in the silence, in the life, pulsing in you, and in everything. There is nothing profane. Everything is altar. Everything is temple. Your feet on the ground, sacred. Your voice speaking truth, sacred. Your heart broken and healed 1,000 times, sacred. Teitei Malkutak, let it come. Let the kingdom reveal itself. Not tomorrow, now, here, in this moment of stillness, in this moment of surrender. You don't need to build it. You just need to stop resisting, stop running, stop searching, and let it show itself, because it always has been, waiting for you to realize. Negwetsebianak, Aling, Tunein, let your will and the will of life be one. There is no battle, there is no forced surrender, there is only dance. You lead and are led, you create and are created, you breathe and are breathed, all at the same time, all in peace. Lama Desun Kanan, breathe and trust. You have what you need, now, in this moment. Not forever, not guaranteed, but enough, enough for this step, this choice, this breath, and that is enough. It always has been. Sibwokan Hobein. Release, Let go. What's past is past. What's done is done. You don't need to carry it. You can rest. You can forgive. You can be free. Not because you deserve it, but because it is your birthright. La talan les una. Don't get lost. Remain here, now, attentive, alive, not in the past, not in the future, but here, where life happens, where you are real, where you are you. Patsan min bisha. Free yourself from the illusion, from the fear, from the belief that you are alone. You never was. You are loved. You are supported. You are life expressing itself as you. And that is enough. Metol dilaki malkuta. The kingdom is, the power is, the glory is, not of someone out there, but of those that pulses in everything, in you, in me, in every atom dancing in space. And when you realize this, when you really realize it, you stop seeking, because you've already found it. You stop asking, because you already found it. You stop asking, because you already are. Open your eyes slowly. Look around. Everything is the same, and nothing is the same, because you are no longer who you were when you started reading. Something changed, something remembered, and now you know. You know that the words they taught you were just shadows, and the light, the true light, was always inside you, waiting, quiet, patient. Jesus didn't found a religion. He offered a key, but the institutions locked the door and sold fake copies. They told you that you needed them to reach God. But God was never separate. God is the air you breathe, the love you feel, the consciousness that reads these words. You are not going to God. You are already the expression of God. And when you pray, when you really pray, you are not talking to someone distant. You are remembering who you are. That's why they changed the words. That's why they eat the Aramaic. That's why they made prayer a mechanical repetition instead of a mystical portal. Because if you knew, if you really knew the power you carry, you would never bow again. You would rise, you would shine, you would live, free, whole, awake. And now you know, not just in your mind, but in your body, in your breath, in the silence that vibrates within you when all the words cease. You know that true prayer has no words, that the true temple has no walls, that the true altar is your own beating heart, and that you, exactly as you are sacred, not because someone said so, but because it's true, always was. So what do you do now? How do you live with this remembrance? You don't need to change everything. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to convince anyone. You just live, you breathe, you remain. And when someone asks you how you changed, how you found peace, you don't explain, you just smile, and breathe, and let the light speak. Because truth is not argument, it's presence, it's not belief, it's experience. And now you have experienced it, you have touched it, you have remembered it, and no one can take that away from you. No institution, no doctrine, no distorted translation, because it's engraved, not in books, but in cells, not in temples, but in bones, not in words, but in breath. Breathe deeply now, one last time, and feel the Abun, the origin, pulsing within you. Feel the kingdom revealing itself. Feel the power moving. Feel the glory shining. Not because you deserve it, but because you are it. You always were, you always will be. And when you leave here, when you return to the world with its demands and distractions, take this with you, not as information, but as remembrance, not as belief, but as living truth. And whenever you forget, whenever you get lost, whenever fear returns, breathe, just breathe, and let the breath remind you. Let it bring you back home, back to the center, back to you, because you are not a sinner seeking salvation. You are not a beggar asking for crumbs. You are not a small, lost, or insufficient. You are vastness. You are mystery. You are the universe looking at itself and saying, I am. And that is the truth prayer. The only one that matters. The only one that can never be translated because it is you, whole, alive, whole. If this text found you, it wasn't an accident, it wasn't a coincidence, it wasn't a coincidence, it wasn't a coincidence, it wasn't a coincidence, it was a coincidence, it was an answer, it was remembrance meeting remembrance. And now that you remember, you have a choice. You can keep this as a secret, or you can let your entire life become the prayer, not talking about it, but living it, breathing it, being it. And if you feel you must share it, not as dogma, not as truth that others must accept, but as an invitation, as a whisper, as a light left on for those who are also looking for the way back home. Because maybe, just maybe, someone needs to remember too. Someone needs to hear that they are not lost, that they never were, that what they seek is not far away. It's here, always has been. Breathe, one last time, deeply, and let everything settle. Let the peace come, not as conquest, but as recognition. You are home, you always have been. And now, you know.